I like to think of humans as living things. They have blood flow, a clear mind, all kinds of things that point to them making decisions. They will decide to urinate on a tree instead of the grass, or they will decide to take the ring off for the last time. Many other living things show themselves in the thick array of molecules we call creatures. The antelope jump, clearly running from the ever-present lion, well for now. We see the biochemistry, the chemical reactions revolving around biological organisms, and we see the behavior. Where does it end? Where does somebody come along and decide that they are alive? When are they dead? You could say death occurs when the biochemistry ceases. But, upon death, we see plenty of biochemical reactions taking place. So what makes this thing dead? It is dead because the more complex reactions to external stimuli cease to take place, or coherently function in some instances. So it is safe to jump all the way to consciousness being the result of the complexities of biochemistry in action. Pause, and think about that. So, in existence, there are superpositions. Things that are true only if values are more than one truth simultaneously. The fact that an organism can smell scents in the air is reliant on this function. Well, to find signs of geological life out in existence, one would have to look for certain things. If mammals are a starting point, a warm fluid cyclically pumping through tubes, for the sake of purifying contained molecules and healing surfaces. Jumping to a different area, microbiological life loves to segregate specific chemicals and even elements. One more little glimpse at life, we would have to see some form of reactionary intent, like an oyster shutting its shell. Perhaps we need not look far. I am a huge fan of hypotheticals, or analogies. Statements that are similar enough to induce an understanding far more important. So let's go for gusto, and try one out. Alrighty. Magma is liquid rock, and other elements, within the mantle of the Earth. Rock melted into magma dilutes all that it is, back to the more common solution that is the mantle. This can be construed to be like blood. If we look at the Earth, humanity is as much a part of it as every other thing. Humanity is no different than any other particle upon the Earth. Every living thing is as much the Earth as the ocean or the clouds. Let's look at the Earth and notice how many segregated molecules and minerals there are. It is interesting to notice the degree of separation that is all around. There are cities of giant structures, secure enough to stand for decades. There are medically viable solutions to any number of ailments, and there are many isolated elements collected for the sake of wealth. Entire isolated elements that have only ever existed upon the surface of the Earth so far. That is a total extreme. This is quite directly like a cell placing certain resources in certain places. So this last one is fun. If your mother is really grumpy because of how hot the weather is, poking her is going to set her off, as it would for anybody. So, sticking a giant metal rod up in the air during a thunderstorm has predictable reactions to the intent-laden stimuli. But of course, this separates humans from the rest of the world. Perhaps geological creatures have self-segregation for the sake of being aware? Questions always arise with hypotheticals. So with these hypotheticals, nothing is too far-fetched. It's quite easy to acknowledge the fact that many signs of life would be under our noses, and it would be quite easy to accidentally misinterpret simple reactions as a conscious one. All of this is hypothetical, all of this is meant to be a mental playground. At least the night sky shouldn't be so lonely anymore.